What is Taiga? Taiga is a steel-launched roller coaster located at Linnanmäki in Helsinki, Finland. The ride opened to the public as Finland's tallest, fastest and longest roller coaster, 3 records previously held by 2 other Linnanmäki rides. The park's striking location at the top of a steep hill has led to the distinctive design of Taiga, which cascades down the hillside. In fact, Taiga is only the latest in a long line of unique rides and roller coasters to be built at Linnanmäki theme park. The park's entire existence is a result of an interesting set of circumstances. Throughout the 1900s, Finland saw a trend of events in the form of small fairs held by charities. Many of these charities were related to child welfare, such as Save the Children, the Central Union for Child Welfare and several others. They all had the same idea: fundraise by holding fairs. The charities began to invest in amusement rides to increase the size of their fairs in the hopes of raising more money. Following World War II, the popularity of these events soared. Though Finland had just entered a depression, making it hard for these charities to buy new attractions to meet the demands of the paying guests. Some charities instead went on to develop their own rides, but a more concrete solution was needed to ensure their longevity. They had an idea: construct a more sustainable, semi-permanent fair to raise even more money. In the end, 6 child-related charities, known now as the Children's Day Foundation, collaborated to make that idea a reality. The park was to open in Helsinki, the capital of Finland, operate for a few years to generate revenue, and then close down. In the early 1950s, the city of Helsinki leased the land to the charities needed in the city, but it was in a rather unusual spot at the top of a steep hill. Just 2 months later, in May of 1950, Linnanmäki opened to guests. The park's name was actually inspired by the water tower that stands on the hill, and in English roughly translates to the Castle Hill. Although Linnanmäki was only meant to last for a few years, the park turned out to be a huge success. Starting out as a simple small amusement park with a collection of outdated attractions, it quickly grew. Today, Linnanmäki stands as the largest theme park in the nation, attracting over 1 million visitors each year. On top of this, in 2019, the foundation raised €4.5 million for their respective charities. The park gained its first roller coaster a year after its debut in the form of Vuoristorata, which translates to roller coaster in English. Opening in 1951, the ride is a Danish-designed wooden roller coaster featuring a brakeman, a person sitting on the train which manually controls the speed via a brake lever. Vuoristorata became the world's newest wooden roller coaster to feature a brakeman, and remains only one of a few types of rides like this operating today. It also kickstarted Linnanmäki's trend of building unique roller coasters. In 1990, they built Pikajuna, then named City Express, a muck rides powered roller coaster which navigates the park's hillside. The turn of the new millennium saw them construct Space Express, now Linnanrata Extra, a space-themed roller coaster located inside of one of the park's 2 water towers. Linnanmäki then collaborated with Muck Rides again to construct Tuulireki, the world's first e-motion coaster. This ride features tight turns and sudden drops similar to a Wild Mouse coaster, though only 2 e-motion coasters were ever built. And as of 2014, Tuulireki remains the only one in operation. 2007 saw the construction of Kernu, the world's first Zackspin. Built by Intamin, the ride features free spinning seats which rotate as they navigate the completely vertical layout. 4 years later, they debuted Salama, a Mara Rides spinning coaster built over the park's River Rapids ride. Finally, in 2011, Uko opened to guests. Also built by Mara, the ride pulls guests up vertically before dropping them back towards the ground in a compact layout. Though none of these compare to what was perhaps the most unique roller coaster in the park for many years, Vankaputos. Built in 2001, Vankaputos was one of only 2 Premier Rides liquid coasters ever built. At the time, it became Linnanmäki's largest single investment to date, as well as the park's largest steel roller coaster. In 10 passenger boats, guests would be pulled up a 24-meter, 79-foot tall lift hill before navigating an unusual roller coaster layout. The ride would then come to an end with a rapid drop into a bed of water, spraying all those on board. As cool as this was, both versions of the ride were plagued by issues. It struggled with system glitches and oversensitive infrared sensors. The other version of the ride lasted only 4 years and closed to guests in 2003. Linnanmäki were keen to make things work though. By running only one of the 3 ride vehicles designed for the attraction, it wasn't as issue prone. So, for the majority of its lifetime, Vonkaputos ran with only 1 train, heavily increasing wait times. On top of this, the large quantity of water required for the attraction and its unique nature meant it was expensive to operate. Ultimately, these factors led to the park announcing its closure in 2017, marking the end of the premier ride's liquid coaster. Fortunately, however, Linnanmäki were already working on its replacement. They teased that more news would be coming soon. In fact, the park began working on Vonkaputos' replacement back in 2015. And from the start, their intention was to build a world-class roller coaster. To do this, they sent out proposal requests to several different roller coaster manufacturers. Within the request, Linnanmäki shared the preferred location of the station building, the topography of the ride area, as well as a few other requirements. They wanted a launch coaster, one with inversions, a vertical drop, and a top hat. In the end, a company known as Intamin was chosen. Intamin had already produced a range of other rides at the park, and park officials had ridden some of their newest roller coasters like Taron at Phantasialand, a similar ride to Taiga. However, before Intamin began to create the new ride, its designer, Daniel Skopen, visited Linnanmäki for inspiration. By doing this, he was able to gauge how the audience of the park were reacting to the current rides and use that information for the new roller coaster. Naturally, the terrain found in that area of Linnanmäki heavily influenced the design of Taiga. The designers at Intamin utilized the terrain to their advantage. Most roller coasters start with a big drop and lose speed as they traverse the rest of the course. Due to the landscape, Taiga reaches its top speed halfway through the experience. On top of the terrain, the park's new ride had to navigate around existing attractions at the park. Tuulireki in particular was a challenge. Intamin designed Taiga around Tuulireki mainly by making its track invert above the other ride. Advertising of Linnanmäki's new attraction formally began in March of 2018, with the first teaser stating something big is coming. Further teasers were released during the same month, providing new statistics about the ride, such as height, length, and speed. Finally, on the 22nd of March 2018, a picture of the attraction's full layout was released, sparking interest from roller coaster communities around the world. Linnanmäki continued to release more information about the ride over time, including an animated POV towards the end of the year. Taiga finally opened to the public on the 18th of June 2019 as the largest roller coaster ever built at Linnanmäki. The name Taiga, by definition, refers to a region of boreal forests and is the main biome which eagles live in. The ride's theme plays on this idea. The story states that 2 eagles have built a nest at Linnanmäki, and as guests board Taiga, they are taken on a surveillance flight around the park to check its perimeter. To further the theme, the ride's track has been painted sky blue, while the front of each train resembles 2 different eagles, Felix and Fiona. The attraction also features a soundtrack created by Imascore, which further helps to sell the idea. But what does a ride on Taiga actually look like? First, guests board one of the 2 eagle-themed trains. Each one consists of 4 cars which seat visitors in 2 rows of 2. This leads to a total of 16 riders per train and a capacity of roughly 860 riders per hour. Once ready, guests leave the station building and head towards the first launch. Seconds later, they're accelerated straight into the ride's first inversion, a 0G winder. They then fall towards the ground before whipping to the right. A long right-hand turn later sees guests roll to the left, then the right, which leads them into the ride's second launch. Here, the trains are accelerated once more, this time to a higher top speed. Riders climb the 52-meter, 171-foot-tall top hat high above the hillside. They then plummet back towards the ground before entering the ride's second inversion, an inverted airtime hill. The trains hang upside down above one of the park's other rides, Tuulireki. It's at the bottom of this element where guests reach their top speed, 106 km per hour, 66 miles per hour. They then quickly traverse a bunny hop and enter the third inversion, an Immelman. The trains climb a left-hand bend into an S-hill, followed by a beyond 180-degree right-hand turn. They then navigate a downward S-curve and an airtime hill, which leads them into a downward left-hand turn. Riders continue by traversing the attraction's 4th and final inversion, a heartline roll. One last upward right-hand bend leads guests into the final brake run. During their experience, visitors navigate 1,104 meters, 3,622 feet of track, most of which takes place during the 60 seconds of actual ride time. Overall, Taiga's debut has been extremely well received. It's said that in 2019, visitor numbers were some of the highest the park had ever seen. On top of this, the ride is claimed to be one of the best roller coasters ever built. Its unique layout, generated by the interesting terrain, helps it to stand out from the crowd. Those who ride Taiga love it, and many others are now visiting the park just to try it out. Have you ridden Taiga? If so, let us know your thoughts about the ride in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.